Hello. Good afternoon. How are we? Right. Okay, so good afternoon. It's a little bit lighter today, I'm glad to say, because it was rubbish yesterday, the lighting. So let me go through what I'm going to be needing. It's not a lot because we're going to do like a really simple drawing, and then I'm going to show you how to colour it with pencils, which I don't normally do, but I want to use my pencils, could not use them for a while. Well, my advice is when you're using watercolour pencils, make sure that you clean up this first, because then you capture all your watercolour and it becomes like a brusho. I don't need it for these because these are my main colouring pencils, so they don't really need it. So just let me check. Oh, I have to do this every single time. Sorry, I'm having to reschedule mine and put it in and wait for it to see if it's come up. Get the little click, hey ho the Mario, and I should be. It's a very. It's driving me nutty. This I can't get onto my. I'm just trying to get into. Yay! I'm there. Right, I'm in. Right, sorry, I'll start again. I was rewinding then, although it didn't sound it, did it? I don't know what that sounded like actually. So got my pencils, my eraser. We'll be together. Get it? You get it? Did you get it? Oh, that was so cool. Got a black pen, very fine pen. A 035. Got two. Oh, how did I get two? Pencil. Okay, so we're going to draw quite simply some mushrooms, but we're going to use some pencil crayon. So I've got some Faber-Castell, which we can use these. Oh, what's that? I've got a bigger tin, so you use what you've got. You don't need anything special, although I will say the more you pay, the better they are. I've got to say that, I know, but I have bought cheap, not price. So in my rather large tin, I have got a full set of neutrals, but I don't think you need that many for this. But we're just going to be happy and gay and pleasant and full of fun today. That's what we're going to be. Get yourself those reciprocals, some pencils, put it all on here. Job's a good one. Manage your hand, okay? And I'm just going to get my. What was I going to come over here for? Oh, I know. I'm not going over there. I'm coming here. No, I'm not. There it is in front. Right, I'm getting a template to just draw around, which makes life easier. I am so forgetful. It really is quite scary. I'm going to do some more watercolour. I've got a new watercolour class that's out today. Hi, Jenny. Hello, Facebook user. I've got a new class out today, and it's the ink cap mushroom. So if anybody's interested in that, it's one of my favourites actually at the moment. I'm very, very pleased with it, and it's so little and I don't do delicate ever, but that strikes me as being quite delicate. So, right, okay. Are we ready? We've got a few people on then. Okay. Hi, Pam. Hi, Natasha. Right, Carol, you're on twice, so you're in twice. Bless you. Right, okay. So I have got my little template which I like to use. And I'm starting to do this more and more where I get this little block, draw around it, and then use the sides as sketching points because I just really enjoy sort of as I go sketching, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of that actually. Sketching as I go and then explaining stuff, blah blah blah, like that, you know. So I'm going to use a finer pencil today. I'm using a 0.5 and I'm using a I can't read that. What does it say? Oh, it's not on anything. Ah, HB. So I've got my little doofer. Only 10 of us, but I know it gets watched later. People are at work, aren't they? Oh, get a bit skewy. So what we can do, excuse me, I just took the tablet, is we can draw very, very sweet little ones. So just going to put a line there, you know, as I do, so you can get an idea. Sorry, it's on the slant, but I like to draw like that. And the next one is, good morning. Oh, I hope your fellowship is nice. Well, you have a good day, I mean. Thing to say, isn't it? So here we go. Let's go for it. So I've got one here and one here. All right, just touch him. And you see, can you see that? So the best thing is to draw an ellipse. An ellipse is, a circle is the same all the way around. It's like somebody is putting force there on it. So it's coming out here and here. Basic physics, isn't it? So as it's being squashed, one of the easiest ways of actually seeing this happen very easily is to look at a toilet roll inside. You know, squish it. When you go like that, it comes out. So it's easier to understand, I think, when you're going like that. So that's what an ellipse is. So you can see mine is slightly coming out. Now, you don't have to be doing this exact. This is just a really rough guide. So when we come to something like this, the easiest way is to just chop it off there. Now, why do we do that? Well, it helps us sort of put the mushroom in perspective. Now here, I'm doing a smaller ellipse, and you've already got your mushroom there. But then we need the stem to come out. Now the stem would be there at the point of the expansion there, the very point. So that would be there. So wherever it is, but there again, that line needs to be mirrored at the bottom. So if I was to do that, it makes sense. If I was to do that, it doesn't. Do you get me? So whatever that line is, the parallel line must be the same. So here, it's got to be round. And the easiest way of doing that is to do that. So I'll do it again. 2 circles, line between them, the very tip. We could either have this 3D, or we could rub that out and have, looking at it there, or do the same. And this is the principle for drawing spheres, cylinders, tubes, one of my favourites. So here we've got there. So this time we're going to change it round. We put our spot in there, get rid of that back line because it's solid and it's exactly the same shape. Right, so what you need to do, get yourself a toilet, the end of a toilet roll or a tube that you can push, and just keep going like that. And then each time draw it a little bit. Or the easiest thing to do is get a toilet roll, print with it, right? Print with that, and then go round and round and round over the line you've printed and get some muscle memory on it. Okay, always helps like that. So here, what we're doing is we've dropped off, we've cut off. Now it shouldn't look like that, but it will do for the moment. So I'm putting here, right? So that line there has to be mirrored. So you draw two, ready? Not the same as that. So we've got to draw another one, which is like that. Still needs to be bigger. You get me? No, I still think, let me just, it's the same principle. I just need to make it shorter because I'm running out of space. So here, see, that would follow that one, but it doesn't make sense. So you've got to follow the line that you're looking at. So we've got here, right? So we'll do another ellipse. Get rid of the bit that we wouldn't see because that would be 3D. And you've done it. But let's put some little flair on it. Let's give it, make it special. So I'll give it a bit of a waist because I like that. So here we've got that shape, mirrors that shape, and then there'll be another shape that just like that, round it. Okay, so this one now looks like it needs to be here. All right, so we've got that so far. How we doing? What happened then? Hello, Marcia. Oh, I've just messaged her to say hello because I've not seen her. We've missed her. I'm Jane. I've really missed her. We all have, haven't we? Right. So we've got ours done there. I'm not finished because what we need to do is then build up some detail on it, but we won't do that yet because that's for later. Right. So if I to just to show you that each one of these lines has to look. So when I'm drawing a line and you go from the middle here, okay, we have to make sure, but that looks flat, doesn't it? So if you're going to do it, what you have to do is do round lines that make it look 3D. So flat lines are for flat objects, unless you want it to look flat and it's a round object, which you would do that. And then if I've got a circular object, and the way I look at this is to think of the letter C's like that. You get it? Is that helping? Brilliant. So we've got our first mushroom. Wait, they're only button mushrooms. They're only button mushrooms, but you know, or brown caps. But I love them all the same. I just think they're great. So next, get yourself a good picture as well. You don't need to copy the picture. What you need to do is just, you need to sort of have it where you can keep looking at it. I see people all the time, and what they do is they get a picture and never look at it. No, you have to keep looking. Keep looking. So here, can you see the circle was there? So I've whopped off the bottom there, and I've just brought these ends in, so it's got more of a cap and less of a, you know, it looks more like what I want. So now this here has also got its little foot. Now we can't see there, so we know it's round though, because we can see that one. Oh, good. I hope so. Is that making it easier for you, Pam? Oh, good, good. So we need to put some detail on this. So I'm going to put in the baselines, and then from there, we'll do our jiggity pokity. Okay, so I'm going to put in some lines now. I wouldn't necessarily do this. I would put some colour on then lines, but I need you to see where we're going with it. I'd love to teach how to do GCSE, not because you need to, but just because it gives you all that structure. Like, I'd love to do I wonder if anybody would be interested in like a subscription where I'd take you through each, you know, like part of my Patreon, where I do a lesson, a month on art and history and stuff. I'm already doing a lesson a month, but let's see, eh? Right, so here, try to be doing your mushroom in one, and don't worry if it wobbles. You know what I mean? Don't worry. Now this one, if you know there's going to be a little gap or anything, don't. What I mean is this. So if I know I've got, let me do it on here. If I know that I've got a circle and I want the circle to have a gap, right? I wouldn't draw that because then I wouldn't get that. So what you do is you draw to where you know it's going to change. Leave it until you know what the change is, and then draw that in. And then that way, you've got the shape you want. So always leave the gap. So if there was a gap, say, here, and I wanted something to come off this, I would go all the way round, stop there, so that I could do that. And it wouldn't interfere. Does that make sense? Okay. Right. So we've got our first one. It's wobbly. It's great. It doesn't matter. We've got like a bit of a wobble edge on it. They're not perfect, and it goes up like that, and then another wobble edge. Okay. So now we're going to come down, and we've got a little tiny bit of a foot. I like to call them a foot on the bottom where it splays out. And it doesn't have to be straight because they're not straight, because they get all bitty here. Now, let's go to the other one. So in this one, put a little bit of a foot on that way. Now, again, there's some bits here. So I'm going to leave a gap where they are. Do you get me? So they're not. Now the next one is they shouldn't be like that. That's a bit of a poo bar on me because it should never meet the parallel lines, so to speak. There. Believe it or not, where's our mushrooms done? Now I could start on something a little bit more. Oh, what's happened there? I could start on something like magic mushrooms or Fusilli mushrooms or whatever they are, but I didn't want to because I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. So I've got my mushrooms, and I'm going to just place a surface to give it some sort of, what's the word? To give it some sort of, so it looks real. So the light would be hitting it about there. There's not really a shadow on here, but I'll just put one on there. It'll look a bit strange at the moment, but these are the shadows what we're going to put in with pencil. So let's choose the colours I've got. I might choose a small one because I think it's only fair. If you haven't got a massive array of pencils, then let's do little ones. So it's easier to do with watercolour, I must admit. And I tend to do watercolour first and then add pencil. Always works better for me that way, always. So I'm going in with my beiges and greys and browns. I might even go in with a little bit of blue. So basic colour range would be that. Let's put it in a family. Let's see what the family looks like. A bit like that. Now there are some greys in between, but I don't want to mix these lot up. But I would go with something like that, so I can get a feel for it. All right, now this is the easy bit. Right, now what you have to do is you get a white or a clear, but you know, I didn't get my white out. You can use a white or you can use a cream, entirely up to you. Right, so, oh, we need a white pen. Right, so what I'm going to do is just, you won't see it much, I'm just going to put on where the light hits it. So if I show you here, so here's the light. Get me? That makes sense? So there's my eye, hence shadow there, like that. And that means the sun's up here. So my eye's looking at it from down there. So anything, if I just draw your line, a line for you, anything there would be light. Okay, apart from this. Anything on that side, anything on this side would be dark. So I'm just putting, to fill some colour in, putting some light on this. Not all over, just onto this side. A lot more here. Now this helps because it's already filling the layers of the actual paper. So you won't have as much chance of being as heavy-handed, because I'm terrible with heavy-handed pencils and I have to spend hours doing it. But if I was doing a watercolour, this would be so easy to do because I just put a few dotches and dots on it. Right, so I'm hoping that you've got, I can see it. Can you see the change? It's just like here and here. So I'm going to go in with the cream just to do it a little bit more for you. So, and I'm doing it very loosely so I can blend. So you can see that there, yeah, hopefully. Bit here, bit here. Basically, you could go all over with this. Might even be easier. Right. Okay, so we've got that one. We've had the white. So now we build up some colour. So, hi, David. Dawid, sorry. So I'm going to look now at, we're going to get rid of those lines because they're in the way. But that gives you just an idea of where the light will be coming from. And then I'm going to put some colours in. So I'm going to start with building colours. Believe it or not, I'm going to test out my colours here. Yeah, they're nice. Let's go with next one. Yeah, this might be too red for what I want. Oh, it could be okay. It could be okay. So I'm going to put the darkest colours in first, very lightly. So I'm just going to put in using really the whole of my edge of my pencil, like that. So you can see now light, dark, light, dark. And this really helps you to start defining somewhere. Next, I'm going to go in with a darker. So we've got a little bit of, and each time I don't go over all of it, I just go over a part of it. So I could build up some colour. So we've got a little bit more there. And you know, look at the other. If you've got a picture in front of you, you're not making up the light source, then you can actually see where the light source is coming from. And then that way you won't end up being, shall we say, over imaginative. So a little bit on here. If I wanted these to look real, what I'd do is spend at least 2 or 3 hours on them, pencil shading. I'm going to go to a grey now because I think the grey will really help me to tone that down. And I've got darker grey. I don't want the grey to be prominent, so I'll put the brown down first. The brown down first means that I'm darkening the brown. And if I put the dark first and put the light brown over it, I'm lightening the light brown. I'm darkening the light brown. It sounds confusing, but the best way is to practice it. Now this is a really lightweight shading. It's not the be all and end all, believe you me, but it just does give you a little bit of an idea into how you can do little stuff. This is called a study because it's not a painting or a proper drawing, it's a study. So each colour is darkening the bottom colour. So we've got a lot of dark happening here. So I want it brown. So I have to go back over the brown because I don't want the dark or the black or anything to be prominent. I want it to be the dark of the colour that we're using, which is brown, not black. So I've put the black on only as a shading, not to be prominent, and then the brown takes back ownership and not the black. So we're going to use a couple of things. Ow, that hurt. Leg's gone dead. I just whacked myself. So we're going to use a couple of really helpful little guides when we're doing this today. We're going to use pencil and pen as well, because the pen will really help us to get a study. Well, we call this just a field study or a way of prepping your muscle memory for something else coming up. You know, a drawing, a painting, watercolor maybe. And each time, can you see I'm trying to make my movements the same shape as the object? I'm making them round so that the object starts to look a bit round. So I've gone a bit over there, but you can rub these out actually. Oh! Oh, you went off then. Again, the dark is there only to darken my colour, which is brown. It's not there to be black, it's there to be brown. So I must put colour over it. To bring that colour back, because I don't want it to be black. So, what's happened here? Oh, goodness me. Right, here it's going to be. So I'm all right with that. It's not great. It's not the best thing in the world, but, you know, it's a study. That'll do me. I'm going to put some light colour all over it. Build up the colour. I want to warm this up a bit. So by using the edge of my pencil like this, what I'm not doing is putting gouges in the paper. So I can actually, see what I mean? I'm not gouging in the paper so that I'm blending it on the top of it. So I'm going to go back to a light grey now. So we've got lots and lots of colour, because it's not just brown, believe you me, it's not. So we're building that up again. We're taking some of that redness out of the brown by using this. Starting to get full my paper, which is good. Excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. So now, this is where I change to a writing. And I'm just going to pick up, it's got a little line there, which, now the light isn't showing on that. Hello, Denise. The light isn't there, so you're actually not seeing in there, so it'll be quite dark. So I'm then going to put in a little bit of shading. But this is really important to do with a picture in front of you. Seriously, because if you start doing it without a picture, you haven't got a clue where the light is, where anything is. You're just looking and making it up. So you can't really draw that well if you're just making it up. Unless, you know, you want to do an imaginary thing, then that's cool. But if we're doing an observational drawing, it means that you have to observe it. Right, so here it's got like a brown edge. Now I could, like I say, I could make this end up looking like a photo, but I really, it'd take too long, to be honest with you, it'd take too long. So I'm going to come in with an orange here and an ochre, because there's all sorts of different colours in this, and I'm noticing it as I'm going along that there's oranges and again, if you put the colour down and then go over it, what you're going to get is a darker version of what you want. Blend it out. Again, I'm going to go back in with a dark. Now it's only now do I start to use little lines, because I want to put a bit of dark on. So, okay, yeah, it's not brilliant. There's no way in a million years that that's anything like what I would do if I was doing a photograph. Well, I mean, I wouldn't start now. This would be sort of the tiny bit at the beginning, but I'm just giving you an idea of how we're going to do a pen study. So white over the top again, blends everything down. Dark. Work it out. So that's one study done. Okay, it's not finished by all means. I'm going to turn to this one now. So I'm going to go back with some of the colours I've got and bring some colours in, because I found that the chestnutty colours in these are really rather rich. So I'm just putting a little bit there. Now while I'm doing this, same pencil, I can add some to the bottom round here. So let's see. That's quite nice now. It's really warming it up, which is quite a chestnutty colour, which is nice. Not perfect for it, but I would put out colours here. So just going to pop these colours down. Should have done this at the beginning because this allows me to see. I'm not using my full range because I don't think it's always needed, but if you've got them, use them. So I'll put the colours down. That helps me to see. And then I'll go with greys. Right. Okay, so you can see I'm starting to build it up. So now I'm just thinking the colours aren't right. I'd have to really sit down and work on this because the colours are just not right for what I want. But I'll battle on. I'll battle on because if you don't like it, it's because you've not finished. Right, okay, now, so I put some lines in that way, and now I need to put some movement back in the opposite way so it doesn't look as flat. It's so flat there, it's untrue. Again, build up the colour. There's no competition. It's not a race. You're just going to enjoy what you do. And it's a plus if you like it as well. Because while you're doing this, you're looking at colour, shape, form, all those things that are really important to a drawing that we take for granted. And they're the bits that are hard. So I'm now using more rounded shapes in my work. So it'd be dark around here. Now here I was pushing that way, here I'm pushing this way. You see? I'm just going to put a little bit, because I don't want that white. So just going to pop in up there. So my shading's not brilliant. No way. I'd give myself 2 out of 10. But once I start putting the other stuff on it, it'll start to come alive a bit more, you know, and look how I want it to look. But at the moment, it's really not clever at all. But that's what I expect. And you know, don't be hard on yourself because it will get better. It will get better. So putting a little bit more lighting around there. I'm gonna go in with some orangey browns here. Now, if I was using paint, that would be quinacridone gold. There, so we've added that. Okay, so I don't like those lines. So what I'm going to do is change my dark here. And the paper is really important to know that I've got lines here that I did not put on, and that's because of drawing previously done, that it does transfer through. Started to get a bit more colour on this, which is good. See this here? This is coming from the page underneath and on top. So you've got to make do with that and just go with it. Don't let it in, dear. Just pretend it's not there. I'm going to put in some dark rounded lines that we won't see later. Famous last words. So when you're shading, it's round, 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 straight. Well, it doesn't always work like that, but generally, can't speak. Just going to put a light bit of shade there because I'm noticing on my mushrooms a bit of shade, which is just giving it a little bit more sort of realism as well. So don't forget, you'll get a mucky hand as well. So here it needs the light colour, so I'm going to go in with a light grey, and I'm doing it round, round and round. And then some of these are a bit too red, so just be a little bit mindful of that. again. Got a bit of light. So, yeah, it needs a real, how can I put it? These are real sort of studies, I would say. They're not photographs, they're not really good. But what they are is a way of understanding shade, light, colour. So I'm just putting a tiny bit of a shadow there. I might knock that off in a minute because I'm not too sure whether I like it, but we'll see. I might take it off actually now. Let's see. Yeah, I put one in with a watercolour maybe. Oh, I know what I'll do it with. Right, so we've got that. I'm going to add now some really light ochres because it's not yellow, this. Oh, white, sorry, I should say. It's got brown bits and all sorts of colours in it, and it, you know, they warm up like this bit here without adding ochre to it. It completely warms it up now. So let's warm that up. I'll warm this up here. So you can see it's warmed up the colour a lot. Now, if you ever sort of get confused about light and dark shades, take it, a picture, and then go into your editing thing on your phone or whatever, and go black and white with it, and that'll show you exactly where all the lines were. Right, okay, so we come to the bit I enjoy now, which is, I want an Art 5. This is where I do my bit, which is I love to add detail. And I'm just going to add some pointillism right at the very bottom, where it's darkest, like that. Now, it's got a tiny bit of shade coming up. Some people say to me, oh, I wish I could, you know, draw like this or that. And I say, well, if you want to draw like a photograph, just take a photograph, you know. It's not why we do it. We draw to get an impression of it. Not, well, not in my opinion, sometimes. And I'm just going to go. There we go. Now, might not look very good, but I'm getting to understand the lines, and then I can just brush them up. Then some concentrate some little areas where it's quite dark, especially here. Where they've been cracked or honestly, it would take me, like I say, hours to get this like a photograph. But I don't want it to look like a photograph. It's a study. Therefore, it's my interpretation. You're right. You're not allowed to say that in here, Natasha. Nothing's rubbish. Have you ever drawn it before? No. Have you ever done this before? No. So that's like saying, I'm going to go out for a run. Oh, I'll make it a marathon. No, you don't. Little steps, little steps. Get the shape right. Once the shape's right, then you go to the next thing and the next thing. And it's not a race, honestly. And you know, these things do take time. Now, I taught myself to crochet, but at the beginning I was thinking, oh, I'll do this, do that. No, 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 no. You've got to be able to crochet first. So I went back and I learned all the stitches. I didn't just go in because I know what I'm like. I can't, I have to learn the way. So little tiny bits of drawing, they really give it some impact. And then really fine. Now you can hardly see these. And I'm just going to go not all over. So, and I'm going to rub them in just to suggest. And there's like little areas where the little bits broken or look a bit. So if you've got a sepia pen, that's even better because sepia works really well. So like little, like, but not bad bits, but they're bruised, aren't they? So I'm just putting them on. And I'm just bringing a couple. And then at the top, it's really hard to see because there are some sort of like dodgy bits on it. Well, they're not dodgy, but they're really quite sort of bruised, and then the skin's flicked up a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll show you really easily how to do that. So again, we're not stuck to all these things where we can only use pencils. We use pens with it. We can use watercolor with it. We can use ink with it. These are all things that we build up a picture with. Very few artists I know who just do one medium and nothing else. Very, very few. You know, you might want some depth with a black dot that you can't get. I can't do that dotting with a pencil. So I can't do that with a pencil. I can only do that with the dots, and that's how I've learned. So maybe it's something that you could try. Try looking at drawing different elements with dots with lines. Now, also, you can get these in different colours, which really help. So I've got that there. I'm just going to put some more here. So if you have got some shading like this, try and make it very, very dark, because it would be the darkest part is where it hits the desk or wherever. Like that. So I've got some details on here which are quite nice. I need a lot more work on it, a ton of work. However, we have our trusty white pens, and this is where these come into their own. So if you've done too much blobbing and dotting, oh, get back on here, son. Done too blobbing and dotting, this is where this comes back into its own, because this can help separate them. So what I'm going to do is go back in now, and I'm just going to put in they may not always work on top of what you're using, especially these, because they've got an oil or wax base. So you end up, you know, just be careful that. Oh, it's gone off now. Look. Let me get the other one. I have got. This might work with this one actually. I've got a Montana one. These. and my paint pens. Right, so some little bits of white can now make it 3D. So I'm going back over these to soften up those lines and introduce some white. And use your finger to just blend it in. So you're starting to see now, not a brilliant picture, but you're starting to see how you can go back in with light, back in with dark, and keep building it up. And then eventually you'll get near to what you want. Now, I've got a little treat for my Patreons. If you go to my Patreons now, I'll do this in watercolour for you, which I always think looks fantastic in watercolour. So if I'm doing a GCSE, what I would do is I would say, right, we're going to look at mushrooms. So I'd make you take a picture, then we'd do some small drawings of them, look at different sorts of mushrooms, and then we'd go from there and we'd look at different colours of mushrooms, different shapes, and we'd just keep building it up. We'd do colours, watercolour, acrylic, we'd do all of it so that you get a real feel for it. So I'm just going to rub out what I don't need because I will have gone over. And the good thing about these Faber-Castells are they are erasable. You can rub out any lines. So in essence, if I wanted to, I could just bring in the light there and the light here where it bounces on it, and that makes it really good. Any extra lines that you don't like, I'm not too sure about that there, get rid of. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm at Highlight Crafts next week. Can't wait. So if you can join us, but I'm doing all sorts of mixed media goodies for Christmas there, which I can't wait. And then I have got a new lesson if anyone's interested. And that will be it from me now. But if you go to my Patreon site, I'll do a little watercolour there for you. And my new lesson, my Patreons on the second level will be getting that free, obviously. And then I'll be getting, you might get a present from me. So here, what I did write was at the bottom, I'd put the date, which is the 24th of the 11th. And I'd put chestnut brown cap. So I've got a little study there. I've got all my explaining here. And here I'd do a colour swatch. So I hope that sort of helped you a little bit. It's one of them things, I can't teach someone this in 20 minutes. It's building it up and then using the confidence and the strength you've got from building it up to then do your own thing, So yeah, it's a labour of love though. You do get very shall we say addicted. Just going to put in a backdrop because they're floating around here and I'm not a lover of them. So what you could do here is get a piece of lace and just go over the lace frottage, and you could make it look like a background. So I'm going to switch now to my Patreons. So I'll be over there at Moodlers. You have to be invited, by the way, to Moodlers. I'll be over there for the Patreons, and we'll do a little watercolour of this. So I will see you next week. I'm not too sure which day. I'm hoping it's going to be Tuesday. When I get an hour, I'll do it in my dinner hour if I'm working, and I will see you next week. If not, I might have to sort of double up the week after. But I love you lots and lots. My supporters, I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend, and I hope we get to see your shrooms as well. Oh, God, I'm out of practice, but never mind. That's so rough. But I hope that's helped. Take care. Bye.